Well, of course, you've seen all the exciting cars from Ginny at the show, but these are the guys that matters. These are the men who are responsible for those hunks of iron out there. And this is an interesting little tale, actually, because we've got with us Steve Lewis and Joe Buck, two British designers, two guys educated in Britain at the best design schools in the world, and two men who have had to go overseas, really, to get employment, to, plying your trade. Steve, where are you based these days? You were with Jaguar in the first place, but where are you earning a living these days?
Unfortunately, I've had to go abroad, but I must admit I'd love to come back to England if the opportunity was there. I mean, I had to move from Jaguar, not purely for financial reasons. It was, in my case, I had a German girlfriend at the time. I moved to Volkswagen cars. I had a good time, 6 years in Germany. They moved me down to Seat in Spain, where I am at present, and enjoying every minute of it. And
now, is it fair to say that maybe the Continentals treat design with more passion, with more importance than in the UK? It seems to me that whatever the field, whether it be car design, clothes design in general, people have to go overseas to make a living. Why is that?
I hate to say it was just the money side of it.
There are more job opportunities overseas. You're recognised more overseas.
No, I think the foreign companies realise that the best educated designers come from England, and they're willing to pay for it, and that's where we go.
Oh, did you hear that? So we educate them, we pay to have them educated, then they bugger off to the continent to earn a living at the taxpayer's expense. A very good living. Well, actually, is it a good living, Joe? I mean, you tell me. You're in Germany these days. First of all, tell us who you're with and what you do.
Okay, I'm presently with Mazda. Before that, I was with VW. They gave me the opportunity to work in the car industry. And yeah, it's good. I mean, I really enjoy it. It's both working for the Germans and being in Germany and working for the Japanese. They're very receptive, and they're willing to let you be more creative, I think, than maybe you would be in Britain. That I think in Europe, Germany is acknowledged as the center of the car industry anyway, and I think that's why more and more Brits are heading there, because they're getting the opportunity to put on the street what they're putting on in paper.
I mean, it seems to me a great shame that we've got manufacturing organisations that can't seem to cut it without help of the foreigners, and yet we've got British designers going into places like Italy, like Germany, style gurus, if you like, and you're telling them how to do it. I mean, you're not just a designer, you head up your department.
Sure, that's true. I mean, I think Steve quite rightly said, I think it's acknowledged in Europe that in Britain, I think the raw talent is there, and it's acknowledged in Europe, and that's why we're basically there. I'm not saying that in Europe as a whole there aren't a lot of good designers. Of course there are, but I think a big majority of them come from Britain, definitely.
What's your advice to any young kid thinking of getting into car design? Is it a good business to get into, and perhaps more importantly, is it a good place to work in the UK, or does he really have to think about going overseas to get a job?
I think, sure, I mean, I wouldn't dissuade anybody from going into the car industry. For every car designer, of course, it's like any profession. There are a lot of guys who don't make it, who end up working in a completely different profession. But I think basically, yeah, I would say you've got to go abroad. Definitely.
Are sideburns obligatory, or is that optional?
No, that's just a facelift styling touch.
That's what we like to hear. The other thing is, it's all very well people saying that they're in the car design business, but I mean, what cars have you guys come up with? I mean, what can you say that you can put your name to? First of all, you have a think about this for a minute, Joe. I know you have to tread.
Can I have a think for a minute?
If anybody's walking around the show, what cars could they look at and say, I saw the bloke on telly that designed that, or at least part of it?
You can never really say that one person designed a certain car. I mean, when I was at Volkswagen, I was involved in several projects. Okay, the forthcoming Golf, that'll be out in '97, I was involved with. But the Passat, we codenamed B5 that you see on the Volkswagen stand here. I did a lot of early work on that, and I could say the front end was a lot of a development from my sketches.
So the nose of the Volkswagen Passat is yours?
I can never say that. I mean, yes, yes.
All right. There's something
It's always
else.
teamwork.
Yeah, of course. There was something else that you told me before we came on air as well that you were responsible for many years ago as well, I think. Or is it something in the future? I mean, with your new employer, Seat of Spain, are you responsible for something on an upcoming new Seat?
Okay, on the current platform, there's no secret that the next Seat Toledo will also be on the same platform as the A3 Audi and the next Golf. And I've been heavily involved in the next Toledo. Yeah. And I can say that's probably biggest project I've been involved in until now.
Right. Joe, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, from the VW point of view, I guess cars that people in the street will recognize are the Golf and Vento interiors. I was heavily involved in that. Passat worked on that as well. As far as Mazda concerns, a string of parts, alloy wheels, etc., which are on some of the cars here today. And the next generation cars, it's, as you know, car design takes 5 years from paper to product. And a lot of the cars that I've been involved with Mazda will be coming out later, 97, 98. So, yeah, I think that about sums it up, basically.
But this is the key thing. If you think that those cars out there look like Euro boxes, if they look miserable, if you don't like them, blame him, this man here, without the sideburns, and blame this man here with the sideburns. And I've got to say, actually, I can't take these guys really seriously as car designers, because if they were real car designers, they would have ponytails.